It was a bright and clear Monday morning my senior year of high school, and I was driving to school. But as I was coming up a hill and around a curve, the right wheels of the car went off the road just a little bit. And when I tried to get the wheels back on the road, I lost control of the car and I realized I was going to hit another car head on. The next thing I knew, I was in the ditch and there was blood running down my face. And I was trapped in my car. I found out later that the car I hit had flipped and the lady had been thrown out of the car. I didn't try to have an accident, and I didn't try to hurt another person, but I did. And just like with the accident, growing up, it didn't seem to matter how hard I tried to be perfect and to be a good person, I just couldn't. I always somehow managed to not live up to my or other people's expectations. So it wasn't hard for me to admit that I had gone my own way instead of following God perfectly. I knew I wasn't perfect, and yet my mom taught me that because of my going my own way, that I was separated from God. But then she said that Jesus died on the cross in order to pay the debt of death due to my mistakes. One day, I realized that even though I had believed for a long time that Jesus paid my debt, I had never actually told him that I wanted him to be my Savior and Lord. So that day I prayed and I told Jesus I wanted his death on the cross to pay for my mistakes, and I chose to follow him. Since then, God has been teaching me about his grace and how I can't earn his favor by my works. And that word grace really just means a free gift. My senior year of high school, God really taught me a lot about that word, about grace. First, through that car accident, I experienced grace from my parents. Their love, compassion, and forgiveness that they showed me after that accident were the reflections of God's love and forgiveness and grace that he extends when I don't deserve it. And one night later that year, I read in the book of Ephesians, verses 8 and 9 in chapter 2, where it says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast." And I really began to understand much more about how my good works don't add anything to what Jesus did when he died on the cross, because he paid the complete payment for my mistakes. It's really been a process over years in which God has been teaching me about his grace. It's easy for me to try to perform, to try to please others, or even to try to please myself. But God has shown me that because of his grace and his steadfast love, he loves me no matter what I do. My identity doesn't rest in what I do, but in who he says I am, a child of God. I am changed because of him.